So let's start. Before we start the session, let me give you a clear picture what we are going to cover. Yeah. So learning objective here is very simple. What we are going to do is in next 6 module, which is designed specifically to make you equipped with all the information available in terms of carbon accounting. Yeah. Historical to what is happening right now. So even COP29 summary, we will try to discuss in one of those sessions. My objective is very simple, to get you 4 things by end of this GHG boot camp. The first goal is that you understand the fundamental principles on the basis of which particularly climate change, greenhouse gas emission, and NDC, nationally determined contributions, are being discussed all across the world. That's the first part, yeah, which created a necessity for
Sorry to interrupt, Vivek. Can you repeat the abbreviations for the NDC?
nationally determined contribution. Okay, so these 3 things we will try to make sure that is communicated to you well, because this is the basis for building up the carbon accounting. Now let's see the goal number 2, which I have. Goal number 2, which I have for you, is that you get enough skill to accurately measure and report along with verify your organization's greenhouse gas emission. It could be your, or you might be doing advisory for a firm. Irrespective of that, you should be able to measure, report, and verify those claims as well. Specifically in terms of all scopes. So we'll start with scope 1, scope 2, but we will go in detail for scope 3. Yeah. And don't get bogged down what is scope 1, 2, and 3 if you have never heard it. People who are working in this industry, they know it. So I believe that won't be an issue for them. Goal 3, goal 3, which is repeated twice actually, last one is goal 4, is basically I want you to acquire solid foundation in the science of climate change and its impact on the business as well as communities, how it is impacting countries, etc. Right? And what are the global efforts are there in place which are trying to address this particular issue today. And the last goal, which is goal number 4, we want you to develop a knowledge and a skill in order to navigate this complex world. So we'll go to different sector and see how in that particular sector, carbon accounting is getting used. Let's go and see the curricula which has been designed specifically for a boot camp. We have this 6 modules. Starting with first module, we'll focus, which we will start today, is on the basics of climate change. Okay, where we will try to understand overview of global emission, NDC, and national GHG accountancy. This is our first target. It will take 2 sessions minimum. Then we will go to module 2, where we will look into GHG inventory management. Okay, that we will try to learn that how this whole process starts. And ESGPro Mastery Institute has its own proprietary way to start the GHG inventory. So any carbon accounting assignment you have, it's a sector agnostic model which we have developed, and it applies to everyone. What we will learn there is we will try to understand the GHG inventories itself. Then we will go into different scope of emission, and we will try to cover scope 1 and 2 in one go. In module 3, we have kept it specifically one full session on this, and a module where we are going to cover the understanding of a scope 3 emission. We will look into all 15 different type and categories with examples of a scope 3, upstream as well as downstream. And then we will look into short-term and long-term goal setting and target setting. Yeah, because eventually when you try to mitigate the greenhouse gas emissions, you need to have a target. Fourth module, we will talk about GHG mitigation strategy. where we will have a practical case study where you will be given, or you can do your own choice and bring a case where you set the mitigation strategy which we have learned in the module 3. This should be sector specific roadmaps and carbon market introduction. We will do it there. Yeah, we will cover it. It's a C in itself, but we will still try to cover as much as we can in the GHG mitigation strategy, because one of the strategy comes from the carbon market itself. Module 5, which is climate action and disclosure, we will talk here about what voluntary carbon markets are, what are those initiatives, what are mandatory requirements are, yeah, internationally, which are the system people are using to verify those, like VCS, etc. Key reporting framework which are available at our disposal, and product carbon footprint. This is whole thing which we will try to learn in next 7 days. And of course, on the last day, we will have a final examination where you will be presenting a case yourself from end to end doing a carbon accounting. We will give you a case study and you have to present that. That carries 40% of the total marks. And then you have 60% of the mark coming from 60 questions, which will be multiple choice. And you will be given 2 chances. But the first chance is critical because it will be happening live. That's the final examination. And then we will distribute the certification and experiences here. Anybody has any question on the program curriculum, specifically Muskan?
Yeah, I have one question,
Please go ahead.
Vivek ji. Next, between the weekend, I'll be on a travel. Can I take a recording session and also the test later once I come back from my travel?
Here, we can talk about that. Not a problem.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. So let's start with today's session, which is session number 1, module first. Here we will be covering 3 goals. Goal number 1, where we are going to talk about fundamentals, principle of climate change. Okay. So we'll try to look into different concepts which are there and confusing sometime too, like weather and climate, pollution and climate. What are the different COPs which are critical to understand? We'll try to understand that. The second goal which I have for the module 1 is basics of greenhouse gas effects and its gases sources. What are the, there is a spelling mistakes, which I'm saying 2-3 places, I will correct it. Which are different gas sources as well. And then you have goal 3, which I have for you today, is that you gain insight into international climate agreement, where we will discuss about COP 21 specifically. We will start from there, and then we will also look into Kyoto Protocol. Clear? Let's start for the first part.